Hello, future developers. Welcome to another tutorial ABCD. With our continuation of the test block, today what we'll be doing, we'll be learning to use pandas to do some classification on the sentimental analysis that we'll be doing today. But that said, first of all, let's try and understand polarity and subjectivity. Okay, already we've done that somewhere in the earlier lessons. Okay, so here, polarity is how positive or negative a statement is. So the score ranges from negative one and then to one. So negative one means it's very negative. The statement is negative, and one means it's positive. And then with the subjectivity score, it flows from 0 and then 1. So anything that so 1 should mean is very subjective, and then that's the person's personal beliefs, okay, or opinion. And then 0 should be something of a public opinion, or yeah, maybe political opinions or something. Okay. So with the polarity, 0 should be neutral. Okay, negative 1 should be a negative statement, 1 should be a positive statement or sentiment or some polarity. Okay. So what I did firstly is for you guys to import pandas as PD. Okay, and then you import matplotlib.pyplot as plt. So we're doing some graph. So as you see here, we're doing some data framing. Okay, then we're doing some graph. Okay, so the matplotlib will help us to generate the graph. Okay, so and then the pandas will help us generate the frame. Okay, as you see here. Okay, so after importing pandas and then matplotlib.pyplot as plt, I created a variable called st. Okay, this is very long, so I wouldn't be doing a lot of typing. I'm just going to explain what I did here so that you can do that on your own. Okay, so st, you can give it any variable. Okay, so st, then I created a list of text. So in my list, okay, so square brackets, and in the I gave it a string, then separating each statement or sentence with just a comma. Okay, so alive cuts, so it's a string. Remember to bring the quotation commas, then comma, then the next one, quotation comma, and then put this, then comma. So you can just do any text that you want. Okay, so lots of violence nowadays. Okay, people like themselves, the food is really bad, and then I see the world as a better place. Okay, so in order to create a data frame, what I did is you can use any variable, but normally people use df. So df short for data frame, so df equals to pd dot data frame. So the data, remember the d is caps, and then the frame, the f is caps. Okay, data frame, they are one word. So data frame into brackets, remember the values here, the strings here, the values here are stored inside st. So st is here, comma, and then the column. So the columns, the header is going to be called statements. Okay, so you can put any value here. It's a string. Okay, so columns equals square brackets and then a string. Okay, you put any name here. So if you print it out, so if I print df, I should have this. Okay, so you can see statement for our header, and then we have our strings that I love cats, people are great, I see the world. So you can see this how to create a data frame with like this. Okay, so here we want to find the sentiment in our text. Okay, so we're doing a for loop. So for sent, so you can use any variable here. So for sent in st, so for sent in st, so remember st is here. Okay, so it's going to iterate or go through all of these and then to find the sentiment based on these methods applied to st. Okay, so create a variable called blob. Okay, you can also give any name here. Okay, remember if you give the name or the variable you give here should be the variable here too. Okay, so mine is blob equals text blob dot into brackets sent. So this, okay, variable, and then we want to print the sentiment. Okay, so print into bracket blob. So whatever value or variable you give here should be here dot sentiment. So if I change here to let's say y, here should also be y. Okay, so run it should give me the same thing. Okay, So that is it. And then we want to define a function for polarity. Okay, and then we'll use that to create a data frame to get our polarity values. Okay, so that said, first what I did was to create a df. So df, and then create the name of our function is get underscore polarity. Okay, so you can also use any name. So that's going to be so any name you give is going to be the name of your function, and then just pass in the parentheses. You just pass an argument txt or any argument, any text here. Okay, and then blob. So blob equals text blob into bracket txt, and then the sentiment. Okay, so the sentiment is equal to blob dot sentiment, and then we are going to return whatever the value is. So sentiment dot polarity. If you run it, okay. Let me see. Let me run this. Okay. So you see that here the text blob. So the sentiment blob dot sentiment. Okay. So after getting the sentiment, okay, of the text, we are returning the polarity. So we want the polarity, okay. So for us here in this line or in this cell, what you want to do, so whatever the polarity is, we are going to use it to get this values in the form of a data frame. So first you declare so df square bracket and then the polarity. So as you see here, there's the polarity, okay. That's going to be the header, and then we are going to do that using, in order for us to get the values for the polarity, we are going to equate it to this. Okay, so the name of whatever name you choose to put here or to have here. Okay, so polarity, so mine is called polarity equals df and then square brackets statements. So statements is this, remember I created this statement. Okay, so this one. So we are going to do that from the statement. So the statement is going to contain is what would get the polarity from. So statement dot apply. So dot apply. So apply the apply method. Okay, remember we created this function here, get polarity. It's going to go through all the statements and then get their polarity. Okay, so if we print it out, you can see here this is the polarity, and then we have our sentiments. Okay, we have our sentiments. So you can see here the statements allow cuts, okay, and the likes. So the polarity here we have 0.5, and then the sentiment is positive. Okay, so here the food is really bad. You can see we have negative 0.7, so we have a negative sentiment, and then people like themselves zero, that's 0, so it's neutral. Lots of violence nowadays, so it sees it as neutral, it doesn't see it as negative. This is our sentiment. Okay, so here we define the function. Okay, so here I don't know why it gave us the sentiment, because we didn't ask for the sentiment, we rather wanted the polarity. Okay, but let's just proceed. So here is a function, okay, that is going to help us get so this is what we need. Okay, so this isn't supposed to occur. We should have gotten only statement and then polarity and not sentiment. Okay, this function is supposed to help us rather get these sentiments here. Okay, but let me explain what this block is doing, or this line of code is doing. Okay, so we defined a function called find underscore sentiment. So remember, you can give any name here. Okay, and then just pass in a variable here. Now if get polarity, so remember our polarity here. Okay, we defined a function called polarity, get polarity. So if get polarity to bracket txt is greater than 0. Okay, so if it's greater than 0, then it should return positive. Okay, elif get polarity, if the get polarity to bracket txt is equal to what, 0, then it should return neutral. Okay, so you can see here we have neutral. If it's greater than 0, you can see here we have positive. And then elif, if it's less than 0, you can see here we should have negative. Okay, then else, if there's nothing, if it can't identify any of these sentiments, it should give us none, or let's say unknown or invalid or something. Okay, so if you run it, and then we'll come and apply it here. So if you apply it here, so what you have to do is df.sentiment. Okay, df of sentiment. So we are creating a data frame or a column, okay, called sentiment. As you can see the output here, sentiment. So to do that, you first create your df and then the name sentiment in square brackets. It's a string as usual, quotation comments, and then you equate it to or equals to you assign it this. So df square bracket statement. Okay, so remember our statement as we declared here. We declared this. Where is it? So statements, okay, which is this. Okay, so statements dot apply, sorry, dot apply. Okay, so apply find sentiments. Okay, so this. Okay, find sentiments inside the the rounded brackets. Okay, so the apply is going to loop through and then it's going to apply the sentiments that it finds in our statements. Um, yeah, in our statements. Okay. So this should be the outcome or the output. Okay. So I love cards 0.5 is positive. The food is really bad. Negative 0.7 is negative. Okay. So that should be it for this section. So in the next section, we'll do that of visualization. Okay. So thank you for watching. See you in the next lesson.